The stars shimmered above the quiet expanse of space, peaceful and indifferent to the turmoil below. In orbit above a desolate moon, the HFY Mercy, a colossal Earth Federation hospital ship, floated serenely. Its massive hull gleamed white, adorned with bright red crosses that symbolized its mission of mercy and neutrality in the interstellar conflicts that raged on. This was a sanctuary for the wounded and dying from all species, human and alien alike. But peace was fragile. Without warning, the calm of space was shattered by the sudden appearance of dancing ships emerging from the shadows of the moon. They were sleek and jagged, their black hulls barely reflecting the light of the nearby stars. Their engines burned bright as they streaked toward the Mercy, weapons hot and ready. Inside the hospital ship, alarms blared. Doctors, nurses, and patients or civilians scrambled to brace for impact, helpless in the face of the incoming attack. Captain Elena Valdez stood at the command deck, her face pale with shock. "Why?" she whispered. The Mercy was unarmed, a ship of healing. There had been no warning, no declaration, just silent death streaking toward them. "They're not slowing down, Captain," the ship's tactical officers shouted, panic lacing his voice. "They're targeting us directly." Valdez clenched her fists. She knew who they were. Viruks, a brutal and opportunistic species known for their disregard of the rules of war. They preyed on the weak, the defenseless, but to target a hospital ship, this was beyond barbaric. "We can outrun them," Valdez said, her voice steady, despite the fear twisting in her gut. "Broadcast a distress signal on all frequencies. Let Earth know what's happening." As the first shots fired, plasma beams tore into the ship's hull, and the Mercy shuddered violently. Bulkheads buckled, and sections of the ship were vaporized in seconds. But before the Mercy could be completely obliterated, the Viruks ships pulled back, circling like vultures, relishing in the helplessness of their prey. "Distress signal sent, Captain," the communications officers confirmed, "but it'll take hours for any reinforcements to reach us." Hours they didn't have. Valdez closed her eyes for a brief moment, grief swelling in her chest. Hundreds of wounded and sick were aboard innocents who would never survive an attack like this, but there was nothing more they could do. And then, out of nowhere, came a single word from the comms officers. "Wait." Valdez snapped her eyes open. "What is it?" "I'm picking up something. Multiple warp signatures inbound. Fast. Reinforcements." The comms officer's eyes widened as more data came in. "It's them, the Earth War Fleet." Valdez's heart surged with a mix of disbelief and hope. The Earth War Fleet, the pride of humanity, a force that had not been unleashed in full strength for decades, held back only for the gravest of threats. She had heard the story show Earth's warships, hardened and unrelenting, could turn the tide of entire galactic wars, but she had never seen them in action. Until now. In a flash of light, the fleet emerged from hyperspace, down scenes of colossal warships dropping into orbit around the hospital ship. The HFY, Earth's flagship, led the charge, its sleek black hull bristling with weaponry. Surrounding it were battle cruisers, destroyers, and carriers, each more imposing than the last. Their hulls gleamed with the same cold determination that pulsed through every human heart. "This is Admiral Catherine Hayes of the Earth War Fleet," a voice boomed over the comms as the Arnd moved into position. "We have received your distress signal, Captain Valdez. Hold tight." The Viruks ships, previously confident in their superiority, hesitated. They had been expecting easy prey, not the full might of humanity's war machine, but they didn't retreat. Instead, they powered up their weapons, sensing the challenge in the air. Admiral Hayes wasted no time. "All ships, engage." In a flash, the void erupted into chaos. The Earth War Fleet moved like a well-oiled machine. Plasma cannons, railguns, and missile salvos lit up the blackness of space as the human ships tore into the Viruks with unrelenting fury. Earth's ships were built for war, and their crews fought with a cold, methodical precision that came from years of training and a deep, primal rage. The Viruks tried to fight back, but their tactics hit and run ambushes. Guerrilla strikes were useless against the overwhelming power of the Earth fleet. One by one, the black ships were torn apart, their hulls shattered by the sheer force of Earth's firepower. Explosions rippled through space as the Virix ships disintegrated, leaving nothing but debris in their wake. Inside the Mercy, the crew watched in awe. What had been a moment of impending doom was now a display of humanity's unyielding resolve. They had not just come to defend the hospital ship, they had come to send a message. The battle was over in minutes. As the last Virix ship was vaporized by a salvo from the Ardent, the silence of space returned. The Earth fleet held their position, their guns still hot, their sensors scanning for any sign of lingering threats, but none remained. Admiral Hayes' voice broke the silence. Captain Valdez, the threat has been neutralized. We'll escort the Mercy to the nearest safe port for repairs. Valdez exhaled, her body trembling with a mix of relief and gratitude. Thank you, Admiral. You saved us. We don't tolerate attacks on the defenseless, Hayes replied, her tone steely. And we don't forgive. As the Earth War fleet gathered around the crippled hospital ship, the stars bore silent witness to a fundamental truth. Humanity was many things: compassionate, diplomatic, willing to seek peace, but when provoked, when the innocent were harmed, Earth unleashed its fury. And there was no force in the galaxy that could withstand it. The wreckage of the Virix fleet floated silently through space, twisted metal and debris slowly drifting into the endless void. Earth's war fleet stood watch, vigilant despite their crushing victory. Inside the HFY Mercy, the wounded had begun to be stabilized, the medical staff moving with urgency but without panic. They were used to working under pressure, but the crew knew how close they had come to annihilation. Captain Elena Valdez stood by the observation window, her eyes locked on the Earth ships outside. The fleet moved like a wall of steel, impenetrable and imposing. She couldn't shake the image of how easily they had destroyed the Virix attackers. If this was what humanity had become, a force capable of leveling entire fleets in mere minutes, she wondered what it meant for the future. A soft chime alerted her to an incoming message. Captain Valdez, Admiral Hayes requests to speak with you, the communications officers said from the command console. Valdez nodded, her heart pounding. She knew this conversation would be more than just a debrief. There would be consequences for what had happened, and for what Earth would do next. The holoscreen in front of her flickered to life, revealing Admiral Catherine Hayes. Her sharp blue eyes and short-cropped gray hair made her look every bit the hardened leader she was. Behind her, the bridge of the Ardent hummed with activity, its crew efficient and silent. Captain Valdez, Hayes greeted her with a nod. I trust your ship is secure. Yes, Admiral, Valdez replied. Thanks to you and your fleet. She hesitated, then pushed forward. I didn't expect a response this fast. Hayes' gaze narrowed slightly. We were already mobilized nearby. This assault wasn't random. Valdez frowned. What do you mean? There's more to this than just a rogue Virix ambush. Our intelligence intercepted chatter that the Virix were targeting specific Earth-affiliated vessels in this sector. The Mercy was chosen deliberately. Valdez blubbering cold, a hospital ship, deliberately. Hayes' face hardened. Yes, this attack wasn't just a crime of opportunity. It was a calculated messaging they intended to send by wiping you out. Valdez swallowed. And what's the message, Admiral? That Earth is weak, vulnerable, that we can be struck at our most noble points or desire, to protect the helpless and be crippled by it. Hayes leaned forward, her expression grim, but they were wrong. Valdez nodded, understanding now. The Earth War fleet had just responded to save the Mercy. They had made a statement of their own. Earth would not be seen as weak, and any attack on its people, its values, would be met with overwhelming force. Admiral, Valdez asked, what's our next move? Hayes paused for a moment, then straightened. We can't let this stand. The Virix attacked a hospital ship, and they must face the consequences. We've already located the coordinates of the fleet that ordered this strike. They're regrouping at their homeworld. Valdez felt a chill. Are we going to war? Hayes' voice was low, but unwavering. We're going to make sure this never happens again. The Virix must understand that attacking Earth or its allies is a death sentence. We'll hit them before they can recover, and this time, we'll be the ones sending a message. Valdez's heart raced. She had seen the devastation that Earth's warships could unleash. The idea of that power being turned on an entire world was sobering, but she understood the necessity. If the Virics weren't stopped now, they would only escalate. "Prepare your ship for immediate departure, Captain," he said, her tone all business again. "We'll escort you to a safe location for repairs before we move forward. The fleet departs within the hour." Valdez gave a brisk nod. "Understood, Admiral." As the holo screen blinked out, Valdez exhaled heavily, her mind reeling with the implications. War, it seemed inevitable now. She had always believed Earth's strength lay in its ability to seek peace, to forge alliances and understand its enemies. But there were moments when peace could only be achieved through strength, through showing the galaxy that Earth would not be bullied, not be preyed upon. And now, the Virics would face the full wrath of Earth. Hours later, the ESV Mercy was safely docked at a nearby human colony for repairs. The patients were transferred to other ships and medical stations, the chaos aboard the hospital ship giving way to a fragile calm. Captain Valdez watched from the surface of the colony as the Earth war fleet moved once again, this time heading into the depths of space with a singular purpose: vengeance. Admiral Hayes' voice echoed in her mind. "You must understand that attacking Earth is a death sentence." The fleet was gone now, streaking toward the Virics' homeworld. Valdez couldn't shake the sense that this was more than just a battle for retribution. This was a turning point, a shift in humanity's role in the galaxy. Earth had long been a bastion of diplomacy and peacekeeping, but now it was becoming something else, a force that could no longer be ignored or underestimated. On the bridge of the Arnd, Admiral Hayes stood in front of a massive star chart, her fingers tracing the coordinates of the Virics' homeworld. The fleet was approaching their target, and Hayes could feel the tension building among her crew. This wasn't just another mission, this was a reckoning. "Status report," Hayes called out. "All systems operational," her tactical officers replied. "We'll be in firing range of the Virics' capital within minutes." Hayes nodded, her expression cold. The Virics had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated Earth's resolve, and now they would pay the price. "Prepare all weapons," she ordered, her voice steady. "We're going to end this." As the fleet moved into position, the distant blue-green planet of the Virics loomed large on the view screen. It was a beautiful world, vibrant with life, but it was also the heart of a species that had brought death and destruction to so many. Hayes watched it with grim determination. "Admiral," the comms officers called. "Incoming transmission from the Virics government. They're asking for negotiations." For a brief moment, silence fell on the bridge.